Hi folks, my name is Travis and I'm one of the creators and developers of Altered World, a new TTRPG that lets you explore character and story with a depth that other TTRPGs may not have given you before. In our last video, we talked about a couple of advantages, hidden focus and panache, and then we took a look at a drawback called dark past. Today, we're going to continue looking at some of these other traits in the extras section, and we're specifically going to focus in on a couple of drawbacks that work together, potentially. So Altered World uses a point-buy system for character creation. And taking drawbacks serves a couple of purposes. It gives you some extra points that you can use to make your character stronger in other areas in exchange for accepting some mechanical disadvantages from the drawbacks. But more importantly, drawbacks make your character more interesting. You take the drawbacks that allow your character to emerge from the math and turn your character sheet into a real person. This is a prime vehicle to drive story, and we love it. We encourage players and game masters to use it specifically that way. Before we look at a couple of specific drawbacks today, just a quick note, we recommend players and game masters work together to put a common sense limit on how many points they can take from drawbacks. It's possible to bump yourself up quite a bit. Some game masters might let you take as many drawbacks as you want and just let the mechanical disadvantages you accrue balance things out at the table. On the other hand, some tables might make that feel like it's power gaming, and they may want to put a cap at, say, 2 CCPs for drawbacks. Work with your game master and the other players at your table to come to a consensus on what that should look like so that everybody has fun. With that being said, let's look at this trio of drawbacks we've got. We've got addiction, compulsion, and dependence. These three can be taken independently, of course, but if you want to play somebody who's absolutely at the mercy of their own personal demons, and you want to explore aspects of the disease of addiction and the psychological underpinnings of it, taking 2 or even all 3 of these drawbacks together can help give a lot of insight into what that struggle is like. Remember, we want to use drawbacks as a vehicle for storytelling more than anything else. This story can get kind of dark. And so if that's not your jam, you can just skip to the end of the video or check out some of our other content in our other videos. Okay, if you're still here, let's briefly go over what each of these does. And then we'll talk about how they might interact with each other. Addiction provides, your character has a physical or psychological desire for a particular substance that they don't normally need based on their physiology. The rating of this disadvantage will increase the difficulty of any task you perform after you've gone a full day without the substance. And the bonus you get at creation is based on the rating and how available the substance is that you're addicted to. With compulsion, you've got something, it's more behavioral. Something of your choice is irresistible to you. And so you will attempt to obtain objects or perform certain actions whenever the opportunity presents itself. The rating increases the difficulty of any action you're taking that is not directly related to meeting your compulsion until the stimulus is gone. And again, the bonus points you get is based on the rating. And then lastly, dependence. This is similar to addiction, but with more severe consequences. You require a certain item or substance once per day, and without it, you grow weak and may ultimately die. Can't be something that's normally required by your species. And the rating is the amount of damage or drain that you take every 5 minutes after that 24-hour period without the substance. The bonus you get starts at twice the rating, and then you can modify that based on how available the substance is. You have to choose things your character wouldn't normally need. So you can't get points for saying, I'm addicted to oxygen, and that's a biological necessity, not something you're adding on to your character. But what we've got here is this kind of buffet of psychological and physiological pitfalls. These can be devastating for a real person, and in a tabletop role-playing setting, they can actually be really distracting if you don't handle it right and the party isn't ready for it. So to make things simple, think of addiction as something your character really wants, and dependence as something your character physically needs. You can be addicted to and dependent on the same thing. There are drugs that function this way in real life. Anyone who's struggled with alcoholism might be familiar with that. Compulsion, on the other hand, again, it's behavioral. It means when you're given an opportunity to perform a task, you won't stop doing that task as long as that opportunity is there. So let's look at all three of these through the lens of something silly. Donuts. Somebody who's addicted to donuts won't be at their best until they've gotten their fix. And someone who's dependent on donuts might literally die if they go long enough without one. And someone with a donut eating compulsion will eat every donut they see until there are no more donuts in front of them. At character creation, you can take any combination of these drawbacks to tell your character's story. You can also modify the idea just a bit, right? Someone who has an addiction to donuts might decide they have a compulsion to acquire donuts so that they always have one on hand to satisfy their addiction when the urge comes back around. What do you think? We'd love to hear it in the comments. Do you think this is a meaningful way to build a character and explore this topic, or is it just going to be too distracting at the table to be fun? Tell us, if you've ever seen a character that was addicted to something in a role-playing game, tell us the most interesting story you've got. Follow us for more Altered World content, where we dive into the mechanics, the lore, and the thought behind the game. If you know someone who enjoys role-playing games, share this video with them. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to know more, you can come join our Discord and check us out. Thanks for watching.